What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we are going to dive into one of the most influential video game times, or one of the more influential times in video game history, 2005. Now, 2005 is notable for a lot of interesting things that have developed when it comes to video games, and I think it's definitely worth having a conversation over. So, having said that, let's go ahead and get into this video. Now, 2005 is definitely where things, in fact, the 2000s themselves are definitely the major, that where video games started to just leap in different ways, visually, the audio, gameplay mechanics, just the way games looked. It was literally the evolutionary cycle that sped up. That's the time period, that 2000 to 2010, and they came out with a lot of great games that helped revolutionize gameplay that we even enjoy today. And I'm sure a lot of people know about it. Well, of course, but most of these younger people don't. So let's go ahead and dive into it. It actually became the year where the game started becoming more cinematic, and that made for some actually really cool gameplay experience. Not only that, it actually helped develop more of the story aspect as well. Cutscenes got leveled up, of course. Graphics started getting a bit better, bit more sharper. Camera angle started working more to the benefit of the gamer, and just voice acting, just so many things started working better when we started making these leaps with the new consoles of that generation. Take one of my favorite games of all time, Resident Evil 4. One of my absolute favorite games of all time, still stands the test of time today, even with the remake. And the remake is fun as well. But just the level of detail with the characters, and not just visually, just the way they act, the conversations are just taken to a whole new level in terms of storytelling and gameplay, as well as world building. Now, that's not even just the only game, and that's one of the cool things about it. It's not even the only game. There are so many games. You got God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, Devil May Cry. Just the cinematic experience of video games definitely got bumped up. And it made for a very enjoyable time as a kid. Well, I was more like a young teen at that time, but it definitely, no, at that time, 2005. Yeah, I was a teenager, almost out of school. Woo! No, 2005. That's when I graduated. Oh, I forgot. No, I'm old. I'm old. 2005 is when I graduated. I can't believe I forgot that or got it confused. But definitely, I mean, if you play games like Splinter Cell, those are actually pretty epic. You can definitely tell it's worked with the story as well. Some of my favorite games, like, well, Fear was actually, I don't want to say Fear is like that cinematic, but it was pretty badass. But you know what I'm saying? Just they just look good. Games just look freaking good. And I gotta say, Resident Evil 4 definitely changed the game in a lot of ways. One of the things that it did was it actually helped bump change the slow, more visceral atmosphere and experience of the original three Resident Evils to more action oriented without sacrificing the horror. It's kind of like when you watch Alien and then you watch Aliens. There's still that tension, there's still horror, but the action definitely elevates it. And not only did it help Resident Evil, because you know, you got Resident Evil 5 that came out, Resident Evil Revelations, you got Revelations 2, 6, the remake, and even with the remakes of the Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, the over shoulder mechanics work really well in a horror setting if done properly. And not even just that, it definitely paved the way for other horror based games of the same vein. You know, Not even just that, not even just horror. Gears of War benefited from this model. Dead Space benefited from this model. Just so many other games with the tighter controls of the over the shoulder and how it works in relation to horror. It definitely did a lot towards, and it even not even just the action bit. It actually managed to tell a good story, and that's what I mean. Resident Evil and you look at The Last of Us as well. Just character focus, but it managed to do action and horror. So Resident Evil 4 definitely pushed a lot. Now I'm not saying that there weren't over the shoulder games before that, but they weren't Resident Evil 4. So they're not gonna get acknowledged that. But I'm saying that Resident Evil 4 definitely did its thing. And then we look at more open world games started to become more prominent. But it's just, you had GTA 3 already. You had GTA Vice City come out. Yeah, San Andreas come out. But this I believe is the year where you started seeing more and more, because you even had Spider-Man. Look at, you have Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction, kind of the mix between Far Cry and GTA. Honestly, why we don't have a Mercenaries 3 if we have a freaking Just Cause 4 and the GTA 6 coming out, I have no idea. But Mercenaries was a really good game. You got the option to choose the missions that you want. It affected the alliances that you were with. You can try to be friends with everybody or nobody, or this faction or that faction. But other open world games that they had as well, such as Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Really fun game. We need a new Hulk game too. It's kind of hard to play a game where you're like the Hulk, because he's such a powerful character, and then you got the city. But Ultimate Destruction was actually a really, really fun game. Then you had Ultimate Spider-Man. Great. I love the art aesthetic of it, the way it looked. I like playing Spider-Man and Venom and how they play totally different. And I like the story. I like the comic book feel. Just the open world, all the exploration, combat just works really well. We had other games that came out as well that was really, really fun. Destroy All Humans. What the hell happened to that franchise? I need to bring that one back. You got to play as an alien that wanted to destroy all humans and harvest their brains. Fun game. Not even just that as well. Just we had some superhero games that came out that were actually pretty fun. Spider-Man 2 got dropped for the PSP in 2005. Nothing like the console version. Let me tell you that, because I bought the PSP version of it thinking it was open world. And it wasn't. It played like the first Spider-Man movie game, which was fun, but I wanted to play open world. But it was still pretty fun. But I wanted to play open world handheld. But again, we got Hulk, Ultimate Destruction, fun game. Ultimate Spider-Man, fun game. We got X-Men Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse, very fun game. Might not be better than the first game, but it's definitely on level with it. So if the first one is a B, this one will probably be a B as well. It wouldn't be a B minus or a B plus, because I feel like it could have had more to it. But what it does really well. You get to play as both the Brotherhood and the X-Men, so that's actually pretty cool. In fact, I still got both of those games, and I was playing the other one, the first one, the other day. It was really fun, really fun. I didn't know where the hell I was going. I forgot to put the damn map up, because I forgot how to do the map. But it was actually really, really fun. Going back and playing that as well. And wait a minute. What year did Justice League Heroes come out? Was it? Yeah, it might have been 2006. I was going to put that in there too, because Justice League Heroes is on point. But there are a lot of other great games as well, fighting games. Now, again, these are all the games that I've played. Me and my siblings played all the freaking time, and we didn't play every game. Hell, there are some games that are epic in 2005 that I still ain't played. Devil May Cry, I haven't played. God of War, I haven't played. The only God of War I've actually sat down and played was the God of War 2018 version. But I know how much God of War was actually influential in video games, as well as Devil May Cry, as well as Ninja Gaiden. Look, hey, we just didn't have it like that. But back then, honestly, we didn't have a PlayStation. We weren't PlayStation back then. We were Xbox and GameCube. That's where we were. And it wasn't until kind of the PS3 era that we started, like maybe a year or two before the PS3 came out, we actually got the PlayStation 2. So we were predominantly GameCube. We were predominantly GameCube and Xbox during around that time. So take with that what you will. Now, and having said that about siblings, one of the things that I absolutely loved about the games back then that we don't get them now, and it's a shame because the local multiplayer was one of the most binding experiences that a person could have playing the game. Being able to sit down, play the split screen with someone, or playing with your three, because back then the systems had three outlets four outlets for four controllers, and you can sit up to four people can play on one game, depending on the game, of course. Like one of the games you could play four players on that we absolutely loved again was X-Men Legends 2. Great. I believe we could play four players on One Piece. Because they had a One Piece game called One Piece Grand Battle where you played as a fun game. It was either 2 players or 4 players. I can't remember, but it was for the GameCube. Well, we had it for the GameCube. But we actually had a good time playing with that. We also Chaos Theory. You could play split screen. Really enjoyed that as well. Star Fox Assault. We had fun playing, especially the multiplayer. Let's see. There were some other ones, but I guess the ones that we got, just the rest of them are just 2 players. But even then, it was still pretty fun being able to. And this is why I say, one, a multiplayer was fun because back then we didn't have microtransactions. So they weren't stifled behind a paywall. You had to earn things actually when you played back then. You had to beat the boss like 10 times with 10 different characters to unlock this other character. You didn't have to pay $10 for the character. Which was pretty stupid. But the local multiplayer was just absolutely king. I wish they would definitely bring that back. Make it optional. Because I still don't understand the idea of, so if somebody it grew up like me in this time period, we have one Xbox or one PlayStation, and there's 3 of us, and it's like, so how are we supposed to play at the same time? Are we supposed to take turns? I mean, that was a thing back then too, but are we all supposed to have a different Xbox with a different account? So I'm not sure what the mentality is behind that, but it is what it is. But still, as I was saying, split screen, local co-op, 4 controllers, absolutely just was on point. Battlefront, woo! Battlefront was freaking awesome back then. In fact, I think Battlefront had at least 2 players in the main campaign and 4 players, I believe, was in the multiplayer. Fun. Me and the siblings just going at it. Just absolutely badass. And then, like I said, online is cool in some aspects because you could reach other people in other places. That's cool. But what about the people? Because hell, me and my wife were trying to figure out video games that we could play together since she didn't got into video games. It was hard trying to find that for just a split screen 2-player game. Now we end up finding some, and then some of the games we play are actually older games, but even still, it shouldn't even be that damn hard. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, what are some other games and let's just go ahead and dive into the games. Damn all that. Star Fox Assault, really, I like that game. I know it didn't do as well as it should have, but I thought it was fun. Look, Star Fox 64 is one of my all-time favorite games, just because off rip is on point. Is awesome. Siblings jumped on that with me too. We had fun. Star Fox Assault, I actually liked it. I loved when we had multiplayer and we could fight from the air, on the ground. I just like that. I like that. It was awesome. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to this. Nintendo, what the hell you got going on? Let's look at in fact Star Wars. Two Star Wars games that I played back in 2005. Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I like Republic Commando because it kind of feels like it should have been a part of Battlefront 2, but in Republic Commando, one of the best aspects to the game is, I mean, it's a war game, you're fighting as a clones, but one of the coolest things to it is the fact that you can command your unit to kind of, hey, post up right here, hey, take cover right here, hey, set yourself up right here, you know what I'm saying? I like that. I want to see that from more military style games. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Gears of War, Crisis, what's the other one? Halo. We need more of that type of tactical thinking in video games. And like I said, I like Republic Commando. When I started playing it, I was like, man, this is pretty badass. I like the game so much to start trying to find the books. I read the second book. I can't remember what it's called. Hard Contact. Yes. Really, really fun. I'm actually looking forward to reading more. And I do hope that they do more Republic Commando types. And hell, why not make the next one split screen? But that's asking too much. But aside from that, Republic Commando, we do have Battlefront 2, epic game. You can play as different factions, the Separatists, the Republic, the Rebellion, the Empire. Freaking awesome campaign. You can either attack or defend, or y'all just sit here trying to figure out who's going to gain ground. Great epic campaign. Really, really fun. Really, really diverse. I do like I like the multiplayer. I love going back. In fact, I like Battlefront 2. I said Battlefront 2 so much. I went back and got it for my PSP. It's a freaking fun game. And I even got it on my Xbox One. I think I got it on my Xbox One. I got my Xbox 360. And in fact, I got it for the PlayStation 2 as well, I think. So I like this game. I actually do like Battlefront 2. It's a fun game. Just on point. Now, one of my favorite games that came out as well, speaking about Resident Evil, was F.E.A.R. F.E.A.R. First Encounter Assault Recon. And you end up playing part of this group that deals with supernatural entities. And not only that, it's introduced one of gaming's most awesome villains, Alma Wade, who is this dead girl, basically this psychic ghost that's going around just wiping people out. But what makes it so good, it kind of balances the same thing as Resident Evil. It has a lot of action in it because it's a first-person shooter, and you run around shooting these super soldiers, but you're also dealing with supernatural elements, therefore building upon a dark and creepy atmosphere, especially given Alma Wade's personality and just the way she does things. One of the best action horror games out there. And then not to mention the bullet time. The bullet time effect was definitely utilized, I think, better in this game better than most. Because it felt like it was just a function and not a gimmick, I guess you could say. But yeah, epic game. Another one of my favorite games of all time, Soul Calibur 3. Soul Calibur 3 changed the game for me. I liked Soul Calibur 2. I didn't play Soul Edge, the first one. But Soul Calibur 2, they had Spawn in the PlayStation version, I think. And I think they had Link in the GameCube version. Look, I'm going to tell y'all this. Now, this is something it's a new thing I didn't like at the time, but I appreciate it now. Or it might not have been Spawn on the PlayStation. It might have been Spawn on the Xbox. I'm not sure. But this is what I do like. I didn't like it at the time, but I like it now. Them introducing video games, and then say Mortal Kombat, got Mortal Kombat on a Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. Okay, each one has their own characters in the game. I didn't like that. I like it now. I think it's a good idea. It's one of the best, I guess you could say, gimmicks that they got going on. But you start to see more and more and more fighting games are doing that. But I like Soul Calibur 3 for a lot of freaking reasons. The story, to be honest, is stupid. I mean, it had cinematics and stuff, but it's not the cinematic storytelling that we get from like the new Mortal Kombat games, the new Injustice games. You know, but that's when that's when we do get to see more cinematic type of storytelling, where we get more cinematics with characters and story elements and beats like that, characters interacting and stuff. I like the combat. I thought the combat was pretty fun. I like the additional modes that they put in there. There's like this war mode where you build characters, and it's like a top-down RTS type style combat where you can either, if they're strong enough, you can have them individually, like they're going across a map and they can engage enemies. If they're strong enough, they can take the enemies out, but they're weak, or they'll probably die. So you can either let them engage them, or you can play as those characters to hopefully beat them. I thought that, like, and also, not only that, like I said, it had several really good modes in it. But also, and I still got that game. But also, you able to create a bunch of characters. And when I say create characters, I say create characters, not do the stupid thing where you customize the characters that they have. No, create characters. There's nothing in this world that makes me happier in video games. Well, actually, there are a couple other ones. Split screen, local co-op for one, but and when we have fighting games, the fighting games specifically, other games it don't feel unique enough to me for the character, for there to be character customization. Like if you play Halo, you're looking from the character's eyes, so you can't really appreciate. You know what I'm saying? You can't appreciate it. Same thing like Far Cry. First person shooters, I don't understand why they have character creators. That's dumb. But for fighting games, I understand. You can actually see them. And not only can you create the characters look, you can do that fighting style as well. I love that. I had spent so freaking many hours in that game, making characters, just different characters. Spent a bunch of hours making one, then I go to the next one, design them, sit there and test them out, and see how they went and everything. I freaking love that. That's one of my things right there. Give me a game I can make some damn characters. I'm gonna make them. That's one reason I like Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Make your damn characters. But what other characters do we have? What other games we got going on? I know I talked about Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, fun game. Okay, now this game that I'm about to bring up is I'm kind of on the fence about, because it too kind of started taking its series in a different direction, and that's Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And in this one, you play as this totally, I don't know what kind of character it is, who has to deal with an organization that's, I guess you could say, creating shadow Pokemon, or at least corrupting Pokemon, turn them into shadow Pokemon, and then you have to battle the person that has the shadow Pokemon, capture their Pokemon, and purify them. Interesting, and it's kind of the thing where they tried to transition from like top down of the original Pokemon games to more 2D ish, more 3D ish type thing, and to varying effects. Again, it's one of those things. Cinematics. Then just the leap of cinematics started in Pokemon. To varying degrees, it worked and didn't work. I remember, come on, sister. I played it, but I don't think I've ever beaten it. But my sister, I know she actually beat it. I feel like she beat it like 2 times, and I played it. I ain't beat it once, but it was. I don't think if it was. I feel like if this game had a bit more time to cook with the story, because one of the things about the story that kind of made it bad was it was open. It was 3D open world ish, but not open world ish. Meaning, it's like what was it? They were saying that the land was irradiated or something, to where you had to go on the set path, but you couldn't explore because something was wrong with the land, and you couldn't walk on that part of the land, and it's like it was open world but linear, I guess you can say. And I was like, we get that there's kind of like if you look at Resident Evil 4. You play in the game, you see trees and stuff, you see gates and stuff, and you're like, well, if this was real life, if I wanted to leave the village, I could have just jumped over the gate and left, or I could have just walked through the woods. But they had there are things that blocked it out, but there was still like exploration. But it felt like a world in it. But it's different when you're looking at open world around you. Like there's a bunch of dirt and like a desert, like saying sand over here, sand over here. You can't walk to them. There is a difference. I know I'm explaining it kind of weird, but there is a weird, it's a weird freaking difference. But I think that game could have been better. I remember I thought it was okay. And plus another thing I didn't like about it, you got these big ass dudes that you sit here battling. They got the smallest Pokemon. How the hell you have a dude that's like 10 feet tall and he's built like a tank and he pulls out an Oddish? Or he pulls out a Sandshrew. You're like, come on. He'll pull out like a Rhyhorn or a Rhydon or a Machamp or a Machoke or a Nidoking or a Dragonite, something like that. Not no Oddish. Come on now. Not what was that? A Weedle. Like that was one of the things I kept thinking was ridiculous in the game. But and then we had an interesting game. It was a media tie-in. It's called Neo, the Matrix Path of Neo, which is like a prequel to. Basically, it's like the bridge between the Matrix and the Matrix Reloaded. In fact, it's pretty much the three movies, but it's from Neo's perspective. Whereas you had Enter the Matrix, which was the three movies, but from Niobe's perspective, Niobe and Ghost's perspective. So in this game, you play as Neo. He's the one. You get to see him learning how to become the one, and it was a fun. And this is where you start seeing more cinematic play as well, such as video clips from the film, sequences that was made specifically for with the real actors for the game, like in Enter the Matrix. So, which was actually pretty fun. I remember I liked that game, but there were certain elements to it I didn't like. And I gotta be honest, the one thing that made me want to buy this game, because it was set between amongst the three movies, I wanted to play the Burly Brawl, where Neo is fighting all of the Smiths. That's the one reason I bought that freaking game, because I wanted to fight all those Smiths. I thought it would be kind of like the movie, but it's 2005. They had some leaps that they couldn't take. They tried. Now I can see that now, based on the counter system from like the Batman Arkham games. You could probably do that closer to the movie. Like you could probably do the fight closer to the movie now because of how we refined it, but not then in that game. But and then there were certain things that I didn't like as well. Like I said, I didn't mind the fights. I didn't mind him using his abilities and stuff. I would have liked him to be able to fly across the city. That would have been fun. I think I would love for them to remake that game now with an open world city and you being able to fly and stuff. And then the combat system, you bring in the system from the Batman Arkham games. You know what I'm saying? What's that? The combat, it's kind of similar from the new Spider-Man games. They mix that up and we'll see how that works. I would like to see them remake that game. That is one Matrix thing, and plus too, I hated that thing where when you jumped, it looked like he was floating. It's like okay, we can't let you fly, so we'll just have you you'll jump up and be like, no, I want to fly. And even I thought kind of the whole thing with. At the end of it, when you fight Smith, who constructs this big smith out of body parts. I mean, out of like junk and debris and stuff. Kind of dumb, but it was, it's all fun because of the game and everything. Oh, also, one of the games that I end up liking, and it was a Sonic game. It's called Shadow the Hedgehog. Very fun game. Look, to me, it's hard to make a Sonic game because of the super speed aspect of it. That's why a lot of these games don't really work out like they should. Mario, fat, slower paced. It's hard to have somebody that can run as fast as he can and make the open world aspect of it feel right. Now, I have yet to see somebody do that. Now, the ones that typically do work are a blend of like the racetrack side scrolling style mixed with the 3D. And I think this game actually kind of has not really the side style of it, but more of the track style of it mixed with the 3D. And I think it does work. And Shadow comes off as kind of a badass in this game. I never really knew much. In fact, I was not. I really kept up with Sonic at that time because I played 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and that was pretty much it. No, I take that back. I played Sonic R. I played Sonic. Was it Underground? Yeah, Underground. But none of those games had not Knuckles, Shadow in it. And then, of course, I watched the old cartoons, and they didn't have Shadow in it. But this one was like my introduction to Shadow. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's pretty cool. It's like, hey, I'm playing this darker version of Sonic, and he had this big ass gun. He just blow blow. He could do the skate thing at super speed. So that was actually pretty fun. But I played one of my favorite anime type games. I brought to the conversation One Piece Grand Battle, fun game. Wish they would have made more of them. It was fun. Was Naruto Ultimate Ninja 3. Love that game. I think it has, of the Ultimate Ninjas, in terms of fighting mechanics, I think that one was on point. I played up to 5, maybe in the 6th one. No, I played up to 5. But I think in terms of just the fighting itself, not all the extra stuff, that one actually was probably the best, at least the first 3. Although I will say one of the games actually had Orochimaru fighting without the use of his arms. I thought that was actually pretty cool. But so I played Perfect Dark Zero. I thought that was a fun game. I played Dead or Alive 4. I thought that was a really, really fun game. In fact, that game made me want to start playing Dead or Alive, even though that last boss fight, oh god. No, it was Dead or Alive 3, I think. The last boss fight was just a killer. You had to fight that green chick, silver chick, whatever she was. It's either this one or it was either 3 or 4. I was so freaking frustrated. I could not beat that chick. I get a chance. In fact, I think I have that game. I might go back and try to beat her. But regardless, before her, it was a fun freaking game. So, and Splinter Cell, I talked about Chaos Theory. The split screen version of it, which is the 2 operatives. You know what? I think they had some YouTubers that made kind of like a video series of those operatives, like doing stuff. I wonder what happened to that. But anyways, playing the Sam Fisher and the Split and Chaos Theory, that was kind of my first introduction to like stealth games. And even though I did not beat that game, I thought the stealth elements was actually pretty cool. Me, I'm the type of guy, every time I see if I'm playing like a stealth game, I'm pretty much killing everybody. It's hard for me to just be like, okay, I'm going to try to play this and try to sneak through everybody. Maybe pick off 1 or 2 of them. Nah, I'm the type of person, I'm picking off everybody. If I'm not just going to go wilding out, go shooting and stuff, I'm going to pick them off. That's why I am not good with stealth games. I try. Dishonored, everybody dies. Hitman, everybody dies. And maybe that's how the game is played, but I think it is something to be said if you can make it through the game with the least amount of bodies. But 2005, like I said, had a lot going for. Oh, and there's another thing too. I want to say, and it's not just necessarily 2005. Back then, games managed to be deep and engaging shorter, with a shorter amount, and a lot of it is by design. And when I say design, I mean it's like, okay, the capabilities of the consoles and the development software then. Because now, back then, 12 hours. That was a really good game. It was replayable. There wasn't a lot of like bloat and stuff. Yeah, we had some, like if you go back to again Resident Evil 4, you beat the game, you go back to try to find things that you didn't have, to level up your weapons, to unlock stuff that you didn't have, to try to play scenarios slightly different here and there. Like there's two or three scenarios where it's like you go this way or you go this way. Like things like that. But they're still fun. You know how many times I beat Resident Evil 4? I beat Resident Evil 4 like 30 times. And then, because my dumb ass, I got it for the GameCube, played the hell out of it. Then I bought it for the PlayStation 2, played the hell out of it. In fact, me and my sister, we actually sat there one time. That was one of my biggest regrets back then, is that Resident Evil 4 was just one player. What me and my sister did was, she got on the GameCube, I got on the PlayStation 2. We hooked them up next to each other, hooked up two TVs next to each other, and we went through the game as if we were playing split screen. Because we were going through the same levels, we knew who was going to be there. Hell, the PlayStation 2 was a little bit more difficult because they added new stuff to it. But, yes, there was some, and now you can play, especially more of the open world games as well. 100-hour maps. Woo! I cannot tell you. Like, I play Horizon, Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West, and even though my wife put more time into them, I just run around doing stuff, and that's dozens of hours there. And I'm just running around, just doing random stuff. But I they had some games back then. They had some games back then. I know I didn't. There was like, they had this Dragon Ball Z game, Sagas, and it was kind of like this beat 'em up game. It wasn't a fighter. You ran around and stuff, and I guess you could say that one is like the proto Kakarot. That's one of them Dragon Ball Z games. I'm like, I mean, it was kind of fun. It felt like when you're eating something that it's like the difference between drinking sweet tea and unsweet tea. Sagas is like unsweet tea, minus the tea, the unsweet, minus the tea too. But I mean, it's not the best, but it was like kind of fun back then. But there was a lot of, like, 2005. Had a lot of great games. I will say this: there is the best, hands down. I got to give it to them. The best company, especially from what I've done, just going off what I played. They had the best games. Definitely was Pandemic Studios. They came out. They had the best. They had the most as well too. I got them listed out. They did Star Wars Battlefront 2. They did Destroy All Humans, and they did Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. All three of those games, in fact, all three of them are open world. Now, maybe there's some other studios that did multiple games in that year, but based off what I've got, 2005 goes to Pandemic Studios. Great games. And based off of the games that I have now, based off what I have in terms of the games that I have on this list, I compiled, which system kind of did the best. Now, I limited it to the Windows, Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. because those, I guess you could say, are the big four. Now I'm excluding PSP and the Game Boy Advance, but I mean, they did their things too. They did their things too. But I looked over my list. I said, you know what? Which one of the systems did they thing back then? Because back then it was truly a game, like a console war. And honestly, it was a tie between Xbox and the PS2. A close follow up with the GameCube, with Windows in the last. Now I will say this too: I wasn't a big computer gamer back then. I had a couple games on the computer, but if it wasn't for that, probably would have more computer games. But so far, it was Xbox and PlayStation 2 neck and neck. They were even. But you know, those are my thoughts. 2005 had some bangers that still hold up till today. And thank you guys for sticking with me to the end of this video. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite games from 2005? I know, like I said, there was some bangers that I didn't. Kingdom Hearts 2, God of War, Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, okay, look, we didn't have it back then. I'm just saying. But anyways, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.